Hello everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel. Since the coronation, there has been radio silence from the royal family on Meghan and Harry. Clearly, they're not letting their BS get to them. And that is what is so frustrating to Meghan and Harry. They're like a couple of little children who act up for attention. But the royals are playing this game very wisely because they're not giving in to them. We've not heard a thing about the royals inviting Harry and Meghan to anything. They haven't remarked on anything that Harry and Meghan have done. The Harkles are so desperate for recognition from the royals, but the royals are not giving into it. Instead, they're just allowing them to continue to slip away into obscurity, which is exactly what Meghan and Harry deserve, but also the thing they fear more than anything else. Another problem with this idea of the Harkles following in Camilla's footsteps to rehabilitate their own image is that Camila had a lot of help from the palace, and the palace PR machine is a lot better than whoever Meghan and Harry are using right now, probably themselves. I don't believe Meghan really listens to advice from PR people. That's her first problem. And that's why she gets it wrong every single time. She's following her own instincts. And when it comes to gaining public approval, Meghan's instincts are almost always off. Broadcaster Carol Malone was responsible for covering Charles and Camilla for years, ever since the 90s, and she said, "When I was reporting on the royals, Camilla was literally the most hated woman in Britain. She really was. She was the devil incarnate, never mind a national treasure. She was hated, she was seen as a homewrecker, and even when Diana died, she kind of got blamed for that. People were thinking that if it hadn't been for her, Diana wouldn't have been in that car. She wouldn't have been with Dodi Al-Fayed." Malone went on to say she had to bear a lot of you-know-what before, but I think the palace's PR machine has been very clever with Camilla. Carol Malone went on to say her coming out, if you like, was in 1999 at the Ritz where the two of them were together at Camilla's sister's birthday party. This was a big thing and people would have forgotten it, but it was a big thing for them to be together. Over the years, the palace has just gone slowly. They didn't shove her down our throats. See, for the Harkles, overexposure is a very real problem, and a problem they have been facing for a long time now. But it seems like their lack of self-awareness is proving to be a big obstacle in accepting this problem. Instead of putting out all these puff pieces trying to convince us that Meghan and Harry are so misunderstood, that they're really amazing people, they should just do something. They should do something to help somebody else. They should lay low and actually get involved in some kind of meaningful work. But they're not going to do that. And one reason I say they're not going to do that is because we're still getting these absurd articles coming from Meghan and Harry's team. There's one in the Express just today. The headline is "Inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Christmas Plans After Rumors of Royal Reunion." Now, the first sentence is written by Jonathan Cangoni, and the first sentence is, "It has been confirmed that Harry and Meghan are being invited to spend Christmas in Sandringham with the royal family." Confirmed by whom exactly? I went through this entire article trying to find some quote or something to make this seem legitimate, but there's nothing. They couldn't even put in a little bit of work to try to make this claim sound credible. They just throw it out there and expect us to believe it. The only quote they even bother putting in there is that Harry and Meghan's new strategy is reconciliation. That came from a source who spoke with Page 6. Well, we've heard that before, but just because Meghan and Harry's new strategy is reconciliation, that doesn't mean that reconciliation is possible. Last time I checked, two sides are required to cooperate with reconciliation, and as far as I can tell, the royal family is not interested. There is also another sentence in this article that has me reeling. Okay, here's the quote. Get ready for it. "It's also being claimed that Harry and Meghan's New Year resolve is to make amends with their royal relatives, as they have decided to not be used by their enemies against the royal family." I had to read this sentence about 20 times, and then I had to get some help from my husband too to figure out what in the world is he trying to say. I mean, are they really admitting that Harry and Meghan have been used as pawns? That there's some other powerful entity who absolutely hates the royal family who have been using Meghan and Harry to attack them? Are they really admitting that right now? To be fair, this is a conspiracy theory that has been floating around for a very long time now. I mean, for years, probably ever since Megxit. That perhaps there is somebody working behind the scenes putting Harry and Meghan up to all this. That this person or people want to promote instability in the royal family and the monarchy, because that's going to suit their own agenda. Now, of course, we don't have any real evidence of this other than looking at Meghan and Harry's behavior. We have no idea who this person or people could even be. But this sentence just strikes me as absolutely bizarre. We've never heard any admission that anybody else was involved in this whole mess except Meghan and Harry. After all, the line they're trying to stick to is that they were just unhappy as members of the family and the family had wronged them and they're just getting their truth out there. But this sounds like something entirely different. I guess it could be that they're talking about Scooby Doo Doo, but at the same time, that also doesn't make a whole lot of sense because last time I checked, it's Scooby Doo Doo doing Meghan and Harry's bidding. It's not the other way around. And that relationship, Meghan and Harry certainly hold a lot more power than Scooby Doo Doo does. I mean, he's just a desperate wannabe. He wants to be so close to the royals, but the royals will have nothing to do with him, so he settles for the fake royals out in California. Honestly, though, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if someday we do discover that Meghan and Harry have been making some very shady deals with some very shady people. There are many people in this world who would see the fall of the monarchy as a very good thing because it would help them to line their pockets. Now, if one of these people, or a group of people, or whatever, approached Meghan and Harry with a deal they couldn't refuse, I absolutely believe they would take it. Meghan will look for any excuse to trash the royals because she's so upset that she can't be number one. And as for Harry, I think it was easy to convince him that he also had a bone to pick with his family because he was born the spare. Meghan and Harry are absolutely the kind of people who would sell their souls to the devil if they thought it was going to benefit them in the short term. It's funny too that Meghan and Harry are wanting to be somewhere that's a little more fun and more cool. The two of them are the opposite of fun and cool. Just look at Harry walking around with that miserable look on his face, and then Meghan walking around looking deranged as all get out with that rictus grin on her face. People in LA are not going to be any more excited to get to know them than the people of Montecito are. As usual, the two of them are completely lacking in self awareness. They refuse to take responsibility for the role they have played in their own loneliness. The insider also reports they need a crew they can rely on to celebrate holidays and share dinners. Otherwise, they're going to lose their minds just staring at each other every day. Okay, as far as I can see, they have already completely lost their minds. And yeah, I'm sure they do need some people they can rely on to celebrate holidays and share dinners because they sure don't have that right now. But again, that is because of their own behavior. I don't know why they thought this plan of trashing Harry's family and selling secrets to the highest bidder was going to earn them friends and respect. People in Hollywood care about their privacy. Meghan and Harry have shown time and time again that they're willing to sell other people's privacy to the highest bidder. Nobody is interested in allowing them to get close. While I do not believe the reasons Harry and Meghan are giving for this move, I do believe that they're trying to move for one very good reason. They're running out of cash. They cannot afford the upkeep and the mortgage on that Montecito McMansion. And eventually, this article does admit that. Of course, they give a lot of other reasons as well, but come on, we know the real reason here. According to the insider, they would be able to cut back their expenses dramatically. The landscaping costs alone at their house are enormous. Well, I'm sure the landscaping costs alone at that Montecito McMansion are enormous. They have a very large, lush green lawn that doesn't exist naturally. They have to pay out the wazoo to water that thing. Let's also remember that when Meghan and Harry signed that mortgage, when they got that house, they thought they were going to be billionaires. That was right after they moved to the US. I think they had already signed deals with Netflix and Spotify and Penguin Random House, and they thought other companies were quickly going to follow suit. They thought they would have no trouble making money. Back then, they thought they were going to be turning down offers because they were going to get so many. Well, obviously, things didn't quite work out like that. Meghan and Harry have already said goodbye to their careers as podcasters. That Spotify deal fell apart, and there is no other contract that's going to be coming anytime soon. The Netflix deal is on shaky ground by all accounts. Meghan and Harry have got to come up with some content for Netflix soon, or there's no way Netflix is going to renew their contract that expires in 2025. As far as Penguin Random House, alright, so Spare allegedly broke all kinds of records. It was a bestseller in the nonfiction category. But a lot of those stories about how successful Spare was is really just PR spin. The truth is, we don't even know for sure if Harry made enough money off that book to pay back his advance. If Meghan and Harry were doing well financially, they wouldn't be so desperate right now. A good way to tell how well Meghan and Harry are doing financially is to look at the reports of whether or not they're trying to make peace with the royal family. Whenever they think they're doing well financially, they feel like they're free to trash them as much as they want. But when their supply of cash starts to dwindle, that's when we start seeing reports that Meghan and Harry want to make peace with the royal family, that Harry misses his family, that they want to come back for Christmas. At the same time, we're hearing all these reports that Megan wants to get back into acting or producing or something like that. According to the insider, she's serious about acting again and getting a paycheck again. It's what she knows, and she knows that to do it right, she has to be where the action is. Well, all right, Megan, good luck with that little plan. I don't think it's going to make any difference whether or not she is near where the action is. I mean, nobody wants any of her action. That much has been demonstrated time and time again. But is that going to stop her from trying? Well, it never did in the past. If Megan is one thing, we can say she is driven. She doesn't give up very easily, even when she should. It also needs to think carefully about her experience as an actress. I mean, let's be real, she never achieved real success as an actress. I know she was on Suits, but that's one single show, and she wasn't the lead character at all. Supposedly, they were also going to get rid of her character on that show because she was so impossible to work with. Honestly, it sounds to me like Harry and Meghan are focused on all the wrong things. Meghan is focused on reigniting her acting career when really she should be focused on not being such a horrible narcissistic witch. I also think it's funny that there's no mention of what Harry is going to do for work in LA. I guess they've just given up on Harry working at all. Honestly, folks, stuff like this makes me believe that a divorce announcement is coming soon from Montecito. I just don't believe for one second that Harry is going to continue to follow Meghan around as she jumps from city to city trying to figure out what to do with herself. They're never going to achieve any real success unless they can change their behavior and change who they are as people, I would say, as well. I mean, they need to develop some self awareness and understand why they're so off putting. They're not young anymore, so at this point, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to do that. But I do believe with the right kind of therapy, they could do it. However, they would actually have to seek out the right kind of therapy, which I don't believe they're interested in. So the insider also said she doesn't care if people judge her for acting again, that ship has sailed. Some people might say it's inappropriate for a princess to be an actress, but Meghan doesn't care anymore what anyone says. Okay, well, judging by that last sentence, nothing at all is going to change with the Harkles. Okay, first of all, some people might say it's inappropriate for a princess to be an actress. Megan, you are dreaming if you believe that people consider you to be a princess. I understand technically if Megan wanted to be called Princess Henry, she could. But she doesn't come close to Catherine. Catherine is a real princess. Megan is a phony. And what about this claim that Megan doesn't care anymore what anyone says? Oh, really? Is that why we're getting so many puff pieces trying to convince us that she's better than what we think she is? Is that why she's so desperate for approval from absolutely everybody? She doesn't care anymore what anyone says? I don't believe that for a second. See, for a narcissist like Megan, all that matters is what people say about her. She has no ability to love herself. All she can get is external approval, which she hasn't been getting, and that's why she is spiraling out of control. To me, that little quote about, oh, people believe that princesses shouldn't be actresses tells us a lot about Meghan's mental state right now, and it's very unhealthy. Meghan needs to understand that nobody is judging her because people think that princesses shouldn't be actresses. People are judging her because she's an absolutely terrible actress. She's not convincing in the least. Her performance on Suits was never impressive. And what was she before that? She was a briefcase girl on Deal or No Deal. Meghan Markle has no acting talent. That's why people are going to be judging Meghan for trying to reignite her acting career. It has nothing to do with a title that she doesn't even hold. At this point, at least we can use Meghan and Harry as a cautionary tale. Just look at all the mistakes they made. First of all, they were so arrogant when they bought that home in Montecito. They could never have afforded that. They were just counting their chickens before they hatched. Let's also think about the reason that they so haughtily moved to the US. It's because they thought they were better than the royal family. Well, when you think that you are so high and mighty, you have got a long way to fall, and that's exactly what has happened to them. Are they going to be able to turn things around? No, I don't think so. It doesn't matter if they're in LA or Malibu or Montecito or even the UK. They are done, and the sooner they can accept that fact and move on, the better for all of us. And you, what do you think of this whole phone hacking case? Was Harry a winner or a loser? Please let me know your opinion below in the comments section. If you enjoyed my video, don't hesitate to like and share it with anybody else who would appreciate it too. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.